Hi, my name's Simon Tanner. It's a real pleasure to be here speaking with you today. Now, my role at King's College London is as an academic in the Department of Digital Humanities. I'm also Pro-Vice Dean for the Arts and Humanities Faculty of Impact and Innovation. So I'm going to be talking to you particularly about impact today, how we can plan for it, how we can think about understanding and serving our communities. I'll be talking to you about what impact is and why it matters. We'll be thinking about how we could use my balanced value impact model to help you to plan and build strategies for impact for your organisation. We'll also be looking at a case study using my work with Europeana to discover and think about how they are implementing impact in a practical environment and use that to help guide you in your thinking around impact. Thanks very much. So let's get started. Okay, let's start by asking the question, what is impact and why does it matter? So impact is about measuring change. It's about showing that a benefit has been received by your community, that you have made a difference and that you have made a change. So we're looking at that question of what has changed and how we can measure that, and maybe how we can think about that in terms of what we want to change when we're looking to the future. It's not just looking at the past and seeing what we did, it's about planning our future thinking. Now, why does this matter? It matters because the environment in which we live now is an attention economy. And so here we have our little fellow running away from a deluge of information that's about to consume him. Now, in this context, what we're asking here is that we have too much information, and so we're in a situation where we're competing for people's attention, for their eyeballs on our collection. We're competing for them to spend time with us. But when I talk about attention, I'm talking about to attend to spend time with us, thinking about what they want to do with us and not spending that time elsewhere. And of course, this relates also to the way in which we manage collections and the way in which we manage our information. So now here's a book that I've been reading recently. It's a really good book by Kathleen Fitzpatrick, and this is how we kind of traditionally managed books. They were managed as objects. We managed the container, if you like. This is a physical book. And the cover, the bibliographic record, was the way that we found that book. But then, as we moved into this space, we started to actually manage content. And here is the book in an electronic form. And I can look at that book, I can do stuff with it, I can even annotate and work with that book in those other areas. And so we moved from just managing the container to managing the content, and then latterly we're starting to manage the context as well. And so in a situation where we can see these tweets, we can see this information in various different formats. We can see people, how they're commenting on it, what they think about this, how it's relating to their work. And so the attention that we are spending on these types of materials is no longer based on can we get the container to the right person at the right time, but can we also get them to be able to engage with and manage content, and at the same time, are we in any way plugged into context? And so when we talk about impact and we talk about the attention economy, we need to be thinking about, can we measure benefits? Can we deliver those benefits? At the same time, can we engage with the content and the context, not just the containers of information that we've got in our collection. Impact's also about money. It's about providing value for that money, showing that your community is going to be happy that you're spending money on your programs and strategies and you're delivering to them the value that they're looking for. We also can't assume that just that web metrics are going to tell us everything we need to know about our metrics. Just because a resource is being looked at doesn't mean it's having a value or an impact. So we need to think about our communities as they're using a digital resource. Is there a change occurring, and can we measure that change? Is that a change in their behavior? Are they reusing our content in ways we may not have thought of before? Are we seeing an increase in the type of use and in the range of people who are using our resources? Can we show some form of change? And is that leading to a wider set of opportunity available to that person or to the community? And these are key issues which we can't measure just through web metrics. We're going to need to think about them at a more deep level, although web metrics do provide us with a strong set of starting quantitative data. Now I just need to just focus for a moment, sorry, zoom even. Okay, because what we're looking at here is 10 areas of impact. We're thinking about education and learning. We're considering, can we engage our audience and increase their knowledge? Are we able in some way to improve their health and well-being? Does our provision of a digital resource lead to an improvement in social and community cohesion? Can we add areas of entertainment and participation? Leisure and entertainment are good things. These are good areas of impact to have. And are we able to show our environmental and sustaining activities, or is maybe some of the resources that we're providing looking at water management or land management in ways that lead to environmental and sustaining activities? Can we provide an economic benefit? Are we generating wealth in our community? Are small and medium enterprises becoming wealthier because they can access our information and research earlier? Is it about democratizing access to information that helps people make decisions by providing them with free access to a wider set of information? Is it about technology and innovation? Maybe we can do things in this space that couldn't be done previously because of our activities. Is it also about equality and equity? Can we balance out inequalities through our activities? And in a sense, we're dealing with the issue here of many, many centuries, possibly even thousands of years of curation and collection. And so we want to be thinking about the purpose of our information and library spaces, because when we're curating these, we're helping our communities to connect with the past, but we're also expecting those communities to use that information as a way of inventing their future. But at the same time, we need better evidence. Better evidence is needed. We're looking for a deeper, richer method of measuring impact than just saying it was great, or assuming that just because we provide it, a community will come, or that a community will be benefited. Let's consider then how we could use my balanced value impact model for the purposes of planning and strategy. The balanced value impact model is available here at this website and is free to download and to use. It comes in 5 stages, where it talks about context, analysis and design, implementation, outcomes and results, review and respond. You can use it as a way of doing a one-off measurement, but I prefer to see it being used as a way of managing little individual projects, which each will provide their own individual little impact measurements, which will then lead to a bigger, wider impact measurement at the end, or an ongoing impact measurement alongside that. Let's start by thinking about context. Well, we want to know about our stakeholders, who are the people who care about our resource, but we also want to think about this area of wider context here, which is our digital ecosystem. Now, you could find this just a very useful thing to do even if you never get involved with impact at all, which is to imagine your world as a digital resource and to think about the content, the users, the stakeholders, your payment mechanisms. How do you trade with your users? What sort of legal frameworks are you working within? What's your technology platforms and infrastructure? How are you linking out to other digital resources? Now, once you have those things in place, you're now in a good place to start considering impact. And the key question here at this point is going to be this. What do I want to assess? Why do I want to know that? And what will I do with the information once I have it? And how would these relate to a measurement of value? How would these relate to a measurement of benefit that I can show in my community? Now, the balanced value impact model comes with the concept of perspectives. Now, these are based on an economic model, such as the balanced scorecard economic model. And the idea here is that you're looking at a central issue from 4 different viewpoints. That way you're ensuring that you're not missing any of the values or the opportunities for impact that could be there. Now, you may place different weightings on each of these, so they're not all equal, but it does mean that you are not missing anything by considering them. Let's look at this in a practical space and consider Europeana. Europeana have been using the balanced value impact model as a means of building strategy and also for planning and implementing impact. So they've got 3 core values at the center of their strategic perspective. These are that their content will be usable, that their relationships will be mutual, and that they will be reliable and available. They have developed a business plan based on APIs and partnership with a range of partners in their network and wider than that. And so they have a complex ecosystem that they're trying to measure. Now, in a very basic level, this is about looking at using a planning environment for looking at impact. So you say for each piece of planned work, whether that is the whole of Europeana or whether that is a series of individual projects, you say what are our resources and inputs that we will need, what activities are we going to do, and this is a basic sort of project by project viewpoint. And then we think, right, for this project, what activities will happen that will deliver some outputs. Let's say that activity was we're going to digitize 500,000 pages of newspaper. At the other end, we end up with some outputs, which are digital images, which are metadata, which are the availability of those resources online. That then leads to outcomes and impact. The output itself is not the outcome. It's only when we see people participating and benefiting certain ways that we see outcomes, and it's only when we see some change that's coming because of that benefit or participation that we can see some impact. And this is illustrated here in this example from Europeana. So in this concept of transforming the world with culture, we have an activity here which was to organise family history roadshows. That would lead to a particular output, which was collected stories and digitised content, which would lead to a specific outcome, which was that they connected with people and the people connected with other people, and the impact was a sense of deeper understanding and a sense of real value from this activity that was achieved and gaining impact. So here is in brief, not in brief at all I suppose, but here is the Europeana impact plan. And so you can see that along this scale here we have the activity leading to output to outcome with a monitoring activity relating to a set of impacts, and they're looking at it from 3 perspectives. We could have taken 4, but they kind of built 2 in to 1. So we have the economic perspective, we have the social and cultural perspective, and we have the innovative and influential network, which is an innovation perspective. And so they've transformed and used the balanced value impact model to get them where they wanted to go along those activities. And so you can see again here some examples that they've used to build this as a strategic model. I'm going to finish there for now. I do have another video which, if there's time, Orly could show you, which looks at the impact model from the inside, looking specifically at the framework and how that is working. I've done a screen capture for that. I wasn't technically able to layer that into this video with it looking anything reasonable. So if there's time, Orly will play that. If not, then thank you very much for your attention, for listening to me talking to you today about impact. I hope that you understand that I think that it is a valuable and useful thing for us to be looking at, and that if we can measure it, we can show significant benefits to our communities. We start off with a model which looks at impact across the whole organisation, but then we should flip that model so that we then start looking at impact on a project by project basis, so that it then fills the model from the bottom up rather than being a top-down process. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you again at some point in the future. If you have any questions, please do send them to me at Simon Tanner, which is my Twitter handle, at Simon Tanner, and I will be glad to answer them. Thank you very much. See you soon.